Welcome guys, this is Ola from Stop Me All channel. Today I'm back with another Life is Strange Before the Storm video. Now I'm not sure how many of those I have left in storage because basically Before the Storm is almost over. We do have Life is Strange 2 coming soon and this is something that I want to discuss today. Both this and the idea of Before the Storm 2. So like after the storm, if you will. Now remember, if you want to talk to me about something, send me any theories or whatever. You can find me on various social media, so Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter and all that. I try to respond. If I don't respond, it's not because I didn't want to, but it's probably I didn't have enough time. Because of all that, I've been very busy these past months. But it's nice that this work is paying off. Lately, Chris Floyd, so games director at Deck Nine's Games, he tweeted after episode 3, basically what he said was, "Never really looked to YouTube for game reviews, let's plays before the storm. So I'm glad to have discovered some wonderful players commentators since August. Thanks, Stop Me All." Now this made me very happy because it's like you can see that he didn't mention a lot of people. Very cool. I know that he was watching some of my videos. Lately he even commented after my Rachel video, Anatomy of Rachel Amber. I pinned the comment. It's on the top if you want to read it. That he made a very interesting comment about Rachel. Turns out my theory about Rachel is pretty much same as his. He shares this opinion, so that's pretty cool. What I really want to discuss today is possibility of Before the Storm 2. Now, I know that at this point that's pure speculation. No one even mentioned anything about Before the Storm 2. No one even said that it's going to happen. None of the game's directors or creative directors like Zach Garris or Chris Floyd or any of them, they never said anything. But they never said no. Many people tweet them about it. Many people say, "Come on guys, let's bring Rachel back." And they never said no, they never said we're done with the story. Don't Not, on the other hand, they said they're sort of done with Max and Chloe, that their story is over. But at the same time, it's like they said it a year ago. They said that Life is Strange 2 will never include our beloved characters. But right now they're not really saying no. He said that it's the same universe, so it's a universe where Arcadia Bay exists, depending on if you've killed it or not. But it exists, so regardless of if you saved Chloe or didn't save Chloe, Max is still alive in that universe, so it is possible to make an appearance of some sorts. Obviously it wouldn't be enough if you see Max just walking somewhere or in the background, it wouldn't really be enough. But I do believe that new set of characters will be cool enough for us, hopefully. We'll get to it then. But what about Before the Storm 2? After Storm? Many people say that the story is done. It's a prequel obviously, so it was always done in a way. It was predetermined. Fate of Rachel was predetermined. Many people say that it's pretty much wishful thinking on our part because we keep saying that we want Rachel alive when we know that Rachel is dead. People claim that Rachel was not really in that hole, that maybe it was Sarah and stuff like this. There's so many theories about Rachel being actually alive. And I'd love it if she were alive. I'd love it. But I think it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, unfortunately. I do think there are ways to save her though. As I said before, that's pure speculation, probably wishful thinking. I probably want it to be true more than it actually is true. But then again, it's time travel story, and time travel gives you so many possibilities. It's endless possibilities. You can do whatever you want with time travel, really, as long as you're being smart about it. You cannot really be like, ignore time paradox and stuff like this. So the thing is, Before the Storm could go two ways. We could either start at the very moment that we were left off, so we see Chloe and Rachel sort of happy in a relationship or not, if you were a weirdo that never chose the romantic path. So we could continue off, like it's still 2 years until Rachel disappears and goes missing. We could continue like it's 2 years, we can really see a lot of the relationship. We can see any sort of adventures really. We could follow Rachel down the path of drugs and stuff like this and actually see what happened with Frank or with Mr. Jefferson. Basically, I don't really know why we keep wondering about Frank. Lately I was sent this YouTube part of Life is Strange game, and the answer about Frank is really there. Nathan said it. Nathan said it to Max in Life is Strange. Have a look at this.
Besides, everybody knows Frank is a liar and a loser. Even Rachel did.
Yet Rachel Amber hung out with him more than you.
So, Rachel wanted Frank's stash. She let him take pictures, then he carries around her photo like she posed for love. Dumbass.
So really, if you think about it, Rachel was just using Frank, and that's what I kept saying. Like, they probably had fun together, but it wasn't serious. She was just in for the stash, for the easy time that Chloe wouldn't provide, because Chloe would never go into the hard drugs sort of path. That's one way, the obvious way for Before the Storm too. And I'd love to see it too. At first I thought that I wouldn't want to see it because I realized that we'd have to sort of see the fall of Chloe and Rachel's relationship. So I was like, I don't really want to see it. As long as they're happy, I want to look at it. But if they're not, it would just make me sad. And, knowing that Rachel dies as well. It's like, happy, not happy, bad. But that's one way. Now, the other possibility is a bit more out there. But it's also a more interesting one. Now, we have to remember about time paradox. Max can travel back in time. She can rewind stuff, but she can also travel back in time using photos. Not only photos that she has taken, but also other photos. Any photos, really. If you remember, she went back in time using a photo that William took, I believe. So that's any photo. She can go back to any time. Time paradox doesn't apply, because the time paradox is based on the simple fact that if you go back in time, you sort of forget stuff. It was pretty nicely presented in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So if something happened and you don't want it to have happened, so you're like, I know that it happened, I'm gonna go back in time and make sure it doesn't happen. But the thing is, that's the paradox. If you go back in time and stop this thing from happening, then you never would have known that you actually have to go back in time to stop it. Do you see what I mean? That's a loop. It's actually called casual loop. You can have a look. Casual loop is a paradox of time travel that occurs when a future event is the cause of a past event, which in turn is the cause of the future event. Both events then exist in space-time, but their origin cannot be determined. A casual loop may involve an event, a person, object, or information. The terms bootstrap paradox, predestination paradox, or ontological paradox are sometimes used in fiction to refer to a casual loop. If something happens, you don't want it to happen, and you know about it, you know that it happened, so you travel back in time and you stop it from happening. But if you stopped it from happening, then you don't know that it happened. There's an actual interesting book about it Stephen Hawking wrote. It's nicely explained in that book. But the thing with time travel in Life is Strange is that time paradox doesn't really apply because Max always remembers stuff. We only know that she can screw something up by accident, like when she did with Chloe. She went back in time to sort of save William, and then Chloe ended up in this, terminal condition and disease when we had to end her life. I mean, at least I did. I don't really know why Max never did it in the first place. When she realized that she can go back in time and Rachel was missing, they could have just used any photo and go back in time to the point when Rachel went missing and stop her from going missing. Because Max remembers all, so she wouldn't not have known. That's sort of a tense that I do not know. It would be mind-blowing if Max, after Before the Storm, sort of went back in time to save Rachel. My idea was that we see Max after the events of Life is Strange. Chloe is there or Chloe is not there, depending on if you saved her. So we see Max, and Max is either very broken because Chloe died, or broken because she feels guilty about Arcadia Bay. So she's like, I need to stop all of this from happening. Obviously we have to remember that the time travel caused everything, sort of the tornado and all that. But it's like, for the sake of this discussion, let's just assume it's possible to time travel and not mess things up. So she goes back in time to save Chloe, to save Rachel, to save Arcadia Bay. She goes back in time to the moment of after Before the Storm event. So before the storm, after the storm. This is very confusing. And she saved Rachel, possibly by sacrificing herself. I don't know, you can pick somehow. I don't know, my theory is not as advanced to actually know what would happen. But it's like, I've talked to plenty of people, Professor Hammer on Twitter, other people as well. You have many theories about how this could sort of happen. I know that's, again, wishful thinking, pure speculation at this point. But I think if handled properly, if handled well, it is something that could happen. I found this theory, someone wrote it. I don't really know this person, but it was posted on Facebook, so I assume it's okay to post it. You could really release a whole other game after Life is Strange Before the Storm called Life is Strange After the Storm, where you find out Rachel was the storm, so you go back to save Rachel, Chloe and the town. Because it is really painful to see a get so close to the characters Rachel and Chloe just for Rachel and possibly Chloe to be dead. And I agree 100%. Max could go back in time like she did to save William, but this time it works and she's able to save everyone. So many cool ways to go. Please don't stop with this last game. I think Before the Storm creators were sort of surprised that this game was received so well. I mean, obviously episode 3 had some critics. I criticized this episode as well, but overall, as a game, I still loved it a lot. And I loved Rachel. I really want to see what happened later on, or I really want to see some sort of fun time travel game, so they play around with time and make it happen. I mean, I know that we assume that Rachel is dead. Some players want her dead. I mean, not in a way like, oh, I want you dead. In a way like, let's leave it the way it is and don't exploit the story. I don't mind. I love this game so much. I know that we're gonna get new characters, but I am not ready to say goodbye to Rachel, Chloe, or Max. I am just not done with them. I am certain the story continues, and I want their story to continue. I really want to see more. I am not ready to say goodbye, so Deck 9, Don't Nod, please consider another Life is Strange game including Max, Chloe and Rachel.
Please.
I'm sure you're smart enough to figure it out. There are ways to do it. If you have any theories, I know I discussed this with many of you, but if you have any more theories on how this could be handled, do comment. Do support Deck 9 and Don't Nod. Tweet them, like write letters or whatever. Just ask them to continue this story. It is worth it. I believe it can be done without ruining the series and the franchise. It can be done in a nice manner and a smart way without insulting anyone's intelligence. So I think that's it. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. There's plenty more videos coming, not only games related. I want to discuss movies as well, shows. If you have any suggestions, tell me what your interests are. I want to try to include them as well. Thank you for watching. This was Ola from Stop Me O channel. Take care, guys.